1973, I'm 9 years old. We played games. We didn't have video games and PlayStations like that. We played Skellies. We played Kick the Can. We used to scrape the bottom off the can and shoot water from the Johnny Pump. And we played stickball. You know, we didn't have baseball teams and basketball teams and stuff like that. We had the Police Athletic League back then, the PAL, but they wasn't really doing nothing in the hood, you know. So, you know, we had to pick up side things to entertain ourselves. That's when I started b-boying. You know, I went to a party one time. You know, you had guys who had money when they was young and guys who didn't have money. For example, we go to a party, you know, and you have guys, they have money. You could tell they have money because they got the coolest clothes. And the guys that didn't have the coolest clothes or the nappy heads, they was in one side of the party. And the other guys that was dressed up, they was in another side of the party with all the girls. And apparently all the girls would sway over to the guys that got money. Now, the guys that didn't have money, you know, well, not guys, but kids that didn't have money would have their own little section at the party. And nobody really knew how to dance because at that time, the closest thing we had to b-boying was remember the Jacksons, and Rerun from What's Happening. We watched that on TV, and the Robot by Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. But that's how it kind of started where people started getting into dance, apartment parties and stuff like that. And then we only got in those ciphers because the cool kids would get all the girls, and all the bummy kids would be to the side dancing by themselves, and it would be a bunch of guys. So you couldn't like do the hustle with no guys. So you just did the break moves. Even if you couldn't dance, you did a flip, or you did a backflip. You couldn't dance, but you knew a backflip, or you knew how to walk on your hands or something like that. And then I think over the years, cats started putting the moves together. When like a certain part of the record would come on, the section of a record where the beat drops and the break beat come on, that's when we started doing anything, just jumping on the floor, flipping around. There was no real combinations back then, you know. Right. And then you just go, oh, you saw what he did. Oh, your guy could just flip over on his back, and everybody at the party be like, oh, you saw what he did. Oh, you know. And these parties back then, it wasn't everywhere, you know. If you came to a party and you tried to do that, they kick you out, you know. Except, yeah, oh, well, I got furniture, I got tables, you know. So guys just started going to jams, you know. We started going to jams, and the jams, they let you do anything you want because you're on the concrete, you're in the schoolyard, you know, you in somebody's backyard, you even on the street. Back then we had the DJs that used to DJ on the street. The outdoor parties. I wasn't old enough to go to the clubs, which I could care less because in 1975, 1977, it was all about do the hustle, the whole disco scene. But at that same time that all that Saturday Night Fever stuff was going on, there was a subculture in the Bronx, and that was that's where the b-boying started. And I think my first jam was a DJ Formula jam. That was the first one. It was on Webster Avenue. He ran the Webster Avenue because we used to come from Fort Apache and walk down to Webster. That wasn't too far from Bronx Lebanon Hospital. When I got in junior high school, DJ Smokey, I'm talking 6th, 7th grade, you know, we used to go to DJ Smokey parties, you know. Kool Herc wasn't even out there, you know. You would just wait till the breakdance part come, and then everybody start going off at the same time when that break beat hit. And then we found out that Herc, my older brother used to tell me, hey, there's a guy that connects the break beats. You just got to go to his jams, you know. So I went to a Kool Herc jam. My brother was with Breakout, DJ Barron and DJ Breakout.
Really?
Yeah, that's when he was with Macintosh Productions. My brother was a DJ too. He used to date Chirac from the Funky 4 Plus One More. My brother used to date her. So I went to jams with him. And I went to a Kool Herc party, and Herc had 2 turntables. Smokey only had 1 turntable. You know?
Really?
Yeah. DJ Smokey, in the beginning, he only had 1 turntable. You know?
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, Kool Herc had 2 turntables. But Smokey had the speakers. Kool Herc used to go around and get speakers from everybody in the neighborhood. He'd fix them all up and tie them together and put them on a truck. So you have this truck driving through the neighborhood with all the speakers tied together. House speakers, apartment speakers, you know. Well, in hindsight, all of them was ahead of their time. But I didn't know about DJing battles back then. All I know is that Smokey had better equipment, and Kool Herc had more people from the community liking him. You know.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know if they was kind of because I think Smokey was half mixed. I think he was half mixed, Spanish and black or something like that.
Okay.
And he's doing this and back then, if you was light skinned, you ain't really getting no love from the hood, you know. It was hard for light skinned people to. If you was a black man and you was light skinned, you didn't get no real love in the hood. You know, one thing that differentiates Smokey from Kool Herc is Smokey had all the break beats, you know.
Wow.
Kool Herc knew how to play the records at the jam, you know, for the black people, you know, get all the black people up dancing in the hood, you know. But Smokey would play like records nobody heard before, you know.
Really?
And if you didn't hear that record, you can't dance to it. I mean, the first time I heard Just Begun was at DJ Smokey party. The first time I heard the flip side of Apache, which is bongo rock, was at Smokey's parties. I don't think one was better than the other. I just think they was different from each other. And the fact that Kool Herc was like, he was black, like black, you know. He can go up to your house and get chicken from your mom, or he could go across the street and get like watermelon, the watermelon man. Everybody knew Kool Herc in the neighborhood. Nobody really knew Smokey, but the Puerto Ricans. You know, let's not forget that. No, he kind of DJ exclusively for Puerto Ricans. DJ Smokey. Smokey's team was predominantly Puerto Rican, you know, and he had the biggest crew. Smokey would come with 30 dancers, 30 girls and guys.
Wow.
And maybe it's about 5 black guys and DJ Smokey squad. And the Puerto Ricans dominated the floor scene back then. They'll jump on the floor in a minute. The black guys, we wouldn't get on our floor. We wouldn't get on the floor back then.
What year was this?
We're talking 75, 76. That early. And you'd be like, yo, what is he doing? And they back then, Puerto Ricans wore the pointy shoes and they wore the platform shoes. So what looked like a 6-step was really them sliding around in their shoes.
Really?
You know, like if you put a little baby, put some socks on the little baby, and you know, that's how it looks. Primitive times here. You know, parties you had more guys like they was like more organized with they stand up rocking like because of the whole rerun and what's happening type of dance, which at that time I hated that type of dance. It was more like Kool Herc was more like the commercial DJ. You know, you go to a Kool Herc jam, and your mom would be out there dancing. The old ladies would be out there dancing. Yeah, like your mom and your dad would like Kool Herc's music, you know, and the younger people would like DJ Smokey's music because it was no singing. It was no singing. It was no romance in the song and stuff like that.
Kool Herc played disco. He played slow jams.
Yeah, it was about his party. It was about his party. With Smokey DJing, it was about the dancing. Because you went to Smokey's party. You knew you was dancing at Smokey's party. It wasn't It wasn't no songs with lyrics. He would just, and he didn't know how to mix. He didn't know how to mix, so he would just play the whole song.
Okay.
And we just wait for the part that didn't have any vocals on it, and that's the part we danced to. The first battles was between the Herculoids and the Smoke-a-trons. And then you had the Ball Busters too. Ball Busters had a breakdance squad too.
Who was some of the dancers that you saw at Smokey's? Who was some of the Smoke-a-trons?
I used to watch them in awe.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the captain of their squad was Larry Ways.
So
Larry Ways was their captain.
Uh-huh.
They had Bboy. She ran the girl squad. She was the captain of the girl squad. And Heavenly Pool used to rock, but yeah, she used to rock.
Dr. Bombay. Have you heard a guy named Dr. Bombay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, that's what it was. Not Mr. Will.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, that's what it was. Mr.
Freeze, and it was a guy named Pause.
Nice.
And they mostly ran with Clark Kent. Well, Clark Kent would rock with anybody.
Got you. So he was running between both of the crews.
Yeah, he was running between all three crews. And he had this move where he had the Superman shirt underneath a white shirt, and he wore glasses. So he would do the up rock and then pop the buttons off his shirt. Now, he would wait. He wouldn't do this. He would wait till a special time of the jam to do this. And everybody would be like, oh, okay, he here. And he'll walk around looking at all the other dancers. And I, pretty slick here, he'll wait till the hyperest part of the jam before he do his thing, because he can only bust out that shirt one time.
One time, of course.
You know, so he'll wait till everybody do their shit, and then he'll do his shit, and then he'll pop out of the shirt and just do a suicide dive. He'll jump really high and flip over and land on his back, and then start shaking like, and that was his move. He would jump up in the air really high, flip over and land on his back in the suicide, and start shaking on the floor. And everybody at the party would be like, oh, yo, he won. And we'd be like, he won? Oh, that's Clark Kent. He'd have the Chuck Taylors on. Black Chuck Taylors. And he'd have like his school pants, a belt, and white shirt. You knew he had that Superman shirt under that. But everybody at the party knew who Clark Kent was. And he'll wait to a certain part of the jam to do his little shtick, you know, which is rip open the shirt, Superman shirt, and then jump up in the air. I'm talking really high, like one of those Frosty Freeze jumps.
Right.
And then land right on his back and start shaking like he had convulsions or something like that.
Yeah. And that's how he won the battles.
Yeah. Because it was extreme. And he had a little bit of a head. He had a drill. Like, he'd jump on his head and spin around like one time. But people would still go, ooh, ooh, ooh. You know?
Wow, he had a drill. So did you ever see him do this the spinning move like a top? Where you spin around like Frosty did? Did you ever see him do that?
Nah. Maybe he did, but I didn't see it. But I just knew him. He did a high dive in the air, you know. Like he can actually jump up in the air and then flip over and land on his back and do that shaking shit. I used to watch the twins too. And they used to go at it with Mr. Freeze and somebody else, some cat from Harlem. Because guys from Harlem used to come to the Bronx too.
What about the Zulu Kings? Did you ever see the Zulu Kings?
Yeah. But they really didn't dance that much. They did a lot of stomping out. They came in as like enforcers first, before B-boys,
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was the Savage Nomads blended into them. They had an alliance, And I had nomads that lived around the corner. I had nomads in my class, captains in elementary school. And they in elementary school and they telling like high school guys what to do. Nomads and Zulu used to do security for these jams.
Right.
And I think that for the dance scene at the time, the alliance between Zulu Kings and it wasn't Zulu Nation yet, it was Zulu Kings. The alliance between Zulu Kings and the Ballbusters and the Savage Nomads did a lot to help the breakdance, B-boys back then, because B-boys wasn't stabbing each other or knifing each other. And the rumbles in the Bronx, they stopped. All I remember is the fact that they wore Zulu Kings on their outfits.
Got you. And they did a lot of stomping and stuff like that. They wasn't really hitting the floor like that, right?
Nah, they wasn't. They wasn't until till Bambaataa started throwing his jams. Then Zulu Kings start dancing.
Okay.
They start dancing when Bambaataa started DJing. Okay. Savage Nomads, Black Spades, Zulu Kings, and the Ballbusters. When they started dancing under the umbrella of Africa Bambaataa, that's when you start seeing, that's when the fights stopped happening. Police wouldn't come and shut down the jam.
Right.
Because, I'm a little bit younger, but I could tell at that time there was a higher echelons of people that was watching over the jam. And
really,
that was the Zulu and Ballbusters and the Savage Nomads, and they didn't dance at the time. Smokey had MCs before Herc. Herc would get on the mic himself. He wouldn't rhyme. He would talk. He would talk something like, okay, come on, everybody, get up out there on the floor, something like that. He wouldn't put no rhymes together. Right. Smokey had that squad that put rhymes together. That's what made his party so unique, And he had B-boys, and B-boys battled. The first B-boy battles was at DJ Smokey's party.